You're so much more clear over the new airwaves. The new soundboard is fantastic. And Rob, we talked some football, we talked some basketball. Why not go back to some football? Some news this week. Your New York Jets in the news again. Colin Kaepernick, we've kind of coined the term tremendously awful when describing his play this season. But, Rob, it seems like reports out there are saying if things don't work out with the 49ers, your boy is going to be interested in joining your team.
I don't want him.
You don't want him?
I don't want him. I mean, I've been playing with the pros and cons in this situation. The pros, you know what? We look at it with San Francisco, the run at the title. He had the weapons around him, and that's what he has right now if he comes to New York. He has the weapons. So his running game will be very effective, going along with maybe Chris Ivory. You have Brandon Marshall and Decker. But then the cons, I mean, does the guy have the potential to go to that next level, to make it? We saw what he did that one year when Alex Smith was benched. Can he do the same exact thing? And I don't see that. I don't see him as a championship quarterback. I just see him as, he's a quarterback that maybe if he's on a good team, he'll play a good 10 years. He'll get you to the playoffs in maybe 6 of those 10 years. But is he really going to do that much damage? And I don't see that with him. He's not that explosive to me.
I think you and I have always shared the same opinion on Colin Kaepernick. We've always kind of said, when was Colin Kaepernick at his best? When he had that stacked running game behind him, when Frank Gore was in it, when it was doing great things, and then you had change of pace guys like LaMichael James. He was at his best when the running game was really good behind him. When they took the running game away from him and they asked him to do more things, make more throws, Colin Kaepernick showed us who he really was, and his play was, as Rob has coined the word beautifully, tremendously awful. I try to think, and I'll go to you with this since you're our Jets guy, the Jets, what are they going to do? I like Fitzpatrick. Obviously, I think when it mattered most in that game against the Bills, he couldn't get it done, and that's alarming. But then at the same time, I think Kaepernick and Fitzpatrick, if those are the two you're debating between, they both bring positives to the table, and they both certainly have their drawbacks. I think the one area Fitzpatrick clearly still hasn't beat is just an understanding of the game. Kaepernick I don't think the work ethic is always there. And that's one thing you never worry about with Fitzpatrick is he's not the most talented guy in the world, but he's out there working his butt off every single play. It's never an effort thing. And if I have to choose between a guy who's going to give me effort and a guy who might not, I think it's a pretty easy choice.
Mm-hmm. Well, the thing is now with Fitzpatrick, the thing is, we got to look at it now as your general manager of the Jets.
Yes.
Fitzpatrick, obviously up there in age. I mean, he's not that old. He's about 33 years old, 32 years old. But the Jets are trying to look for what is our future. Are we going to be able, not this year, we're not going to be able to get a top quarterback in this draft. There's nobody that really stands out unless it's in the top 5. And you rarely, at times, you'll see it. Tom Brady, Russell Wilson. Where am I creating that? Quarterbacks drafted in late rounds that developed into superstars. And with the Jets, they're kind of looking at now, how are we going to get that next superstar? Because the Jets haven't had a quarterback that's been there with them for years, like Joe Namath. We haven't had that. Sure, we had Chad, but Chad was hurt half his career. So, the Jets are looking for that franchise quarterback. And you know what? Maybe they're saying right now, Kaepernick's young. Maybe we could get him more years than what we're going to get out of Fitz. Is Fitz going to continue to thrive in our offense, or will he eventually fall out with age coming up? And that's what they're looking at. That's why Kaepernick could fall. We need to sign him now if he's released. Obviously not going to trade for him because they are not eating that salary whatsoever.
Way. Here's one interesting thing is I think you hit it all on the head as usual. I think where they need to think about this, though, is, there's a window to win with this team, I think, with everybody that they bringing back, Revis and Cromartie. Obviously, they need to look at the future. They're not going to really seriously win until they get a quarterback of the future. But, can you win? It's what would you say, a 2 to 2 year win window with this team, maybe?
Yeah, pretty much. Because even Revis has lost his step.
Yeah, even Revis has lost his step.
Cromartie needs to be cut. Obviously now the defense is going to get expensive when you have such a great defense like that, a bunch of first-round picks. And it's eventually going to be win now or we're rebuilding. And that's the constant problem we see in the NFL, unless
Yes.
it's like the New England Patriots, is you'll have these teams. We saw with San Francisco
Yep.
with Mike Singletary. He built it up, that program. Harbaugh took over. Look what they did. They had their run. He's gone. Everybody leaves. Everything falls apart. And you know what? With the Jets, are we going to see that same thing? Is Brandon Marshall going to be sticking here for a couple years? Eric Decker, yes, he's on his contract. But, I mean, are we going to still have that same amount of players with the same talent? Because age catches up to all of us at the end of the day.
Age catches up to all of us, and it certainly has been catching up to Peyton Manning, and he is the next guy to talk about here. Reports the other day from Adam Schefter that the Rams have strongly talked about it internally, that they kind of might want to bring him in as their quarterback next season. Now, I think, Rob, before we can go to that, we have to say, what is Peyton Manning going to do?
I don't know. The guy could barely throw off the back of his leg. What is he going to do? And no wide receivers. Todd Gurley's good. But
Yes.
Gurley, we saw at times, Joe, he'll rush for 100 yards in like 3 straight games and then falls off the face of the earth.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Peyton Manning, retire. Don't go with the Rams, because even if he plays with Jeff Fisher, what's Jeff going to do besides say, oh, you know, my team did this. I'm sick and tired of it.
I like the Jeff Fisher impersonation.
I wish I could mimic him. I would mimic a couple things he said this year about his team. But, Joe, we saw with the quarterback situation this year. When they trade Sam Bradford to the Eagles and everybody's going, yes, we get Nick Foles. We're going somewhere.
Yeah, how'd that work out?
It was like, it was watching a nightmare. It was watching that same nightmare over and over again of Nick Foles comes out, Nick Foles is down. Nick Foles throws for 100 yards. When have we ever seen Nick Foles do that in Philadelphia? And, I mean, what's Peyton going to do at 40 years old? For real, what is he going to do besides get hit, probably be like Brett Favre, be injured half the season, play half the games? What are we going to see? Absolutely nothing. Retire. You did what you had to do. You won a Super Bowl. What else is there to do? There's nothing else to do in the NFL. The NFL is, it's time to retire. You made your money. Go into coaching. Go do something. Go spend some time with your family.
See, I think that's the thing is, like, if he wins the Super Bowl, there's no question he's retiring. I mean, how could you not walk away from the game when you're on top? If they lose, I think it's really hard to say bye to the game. Losing in the Super Bowl and then just calling it, I know at his age it's tough, but, you know, I look at Peyton and the guy like that, and I just don't think he could walk off that way. I mean, I know he's going to be 40 years old, but
Is it worth that much, though, the Super Bowl? That's the thing. You have the title already.
you do have the title.
You have the one title. And you know what? You're going to look back at your career and go, yes, we had this many opportunities. I was watching a video the other day with Indianapolis. We look at where Indianapolis could have been. How many Super Bowls they actually should have been in, Joe, with the offense they had. I mean, that's the only thing he's going to look back at. But you got the ring. What else do you really need? There's guys who will play 15 years in this league and come out with absolutely nothing, just play for the love of the game. And, that's the sad part of it. You got one ring. You've been to 3 championships. And that's enough in a career. That's a Hall of Famer kind of statistic that you want to see. So, I mean, Peyton, obviously, you got to know when it's time to quit. And obviously, we've seen that. It's time to let Brock Osweiler come in. It's his team right now. And that's the way it's going to end after this season.
It's hard to argue with you. I think the same thing. If there's more for you to accomplish, come back. But if you've already done everything, he's won the MVPs. He's won the Super Bowl. He's won the Super Bowl MVP. If he wins the Super Bowl this year, it's easy. And if he loses, I look at it and I say, again, like you just said, what more could you do? You've had a great career. For the Rams' perspective, though, I think they are looking at this from this point of view. You're the new team in LA. You're going to be one of the most talked about new teams in football. You're coming into the season with Nick Foles and Case Keenum as your quarterbacks. That's not going to sell a lot of jerseys. That's not going to get a lot of people too excited. You bring Peyton Manning in, then people might start talking a little bit. You might be selling a couple more jerseys. People might be a little bit more interested. I think that, more than anything, is what they're thinking here, because how much can you reasonably expect Peyton Manning to do? You think he's going to take this team to the Super Bowl at age 40? I think maybe commercially it has as much to do with anything.
No, if the Rams want to sell tickets, you sign Johnny Manziel, Joe.
Well, that's a disaster for another day. I mean, you talk about tremendously awful, Rob, in life and in football. That's Manziel. I mean, there's stages to a train wreck. Manziel really, his train wreck has played out in front of our eyes time and time and time again.
He's like a baby. It's like you got to walk around carrying the baby monitor to watch what he does. I mean, it's pathetic.
It's sad. It really, I mean, it's sad when somebody like that in life, who's had all the advantages that so many other people will never have, has screwed it up this badly. He had every advantage you could ever want. Oil money, family, always it was given everything, and he just can't put it together seriously. And I think, here's what I think about this, and I'll ask you is, I think if you want to be good at something, you're going to work towards it. I mean, you don't always get there, but if you like doing something, you're going to try to get there. If Manziel really wanted to be a great quarterback, he would be out there doing it. He wouldn't be out there doing all this stupid stuff. That's just the way I think about it.
Yeah, he just doesn't care about his career, Joe. You know, I was talking with this with my uncle, and he said straightforward, he just came in to make his money. That's what he's looking at. Even though he barely made anything probably in this league, maybe about $5 million, and then you look at probably what he got with some deals, endorsement deals on the way. But how do you waste your talent? Like, how are you so superb in college, and then, oh, you know what? I'm going to be a party animal. I'm going to do this. I'm going to go to Vegas. I'm going to lie where I'm at. Like, are you a child? Absolutely not. You're 21 years old, 22 years old, whatever it is. And it just comes a point where you go, I have a goal. I came to Cleveland, and I praised with Cleveland, we're going to do some damage in this league. And then how do you not live up to that goal? How do you just take it as a joke? And it's such a shame. It truly is, Joe.
It is, and that's the thing that separates the big boys. There's a reason Jamarcus Russell, Johnny Manziel, Ryan Leaf, guys like that don't succeed in the NFL, and there's a reason guys like Peyton, guys like Russell Wilson, guys like Cam do succeed in the NFL, and it all is work ethic. All those guys are talented, all those guys have athleticism, but what separates you at the end of the day in the big boy league is work ethic. Some guys have it, some guys don't. The ones that do win, and the ones that don't. And I think it's as simple as that. Jersey Joe Archino and Big Shot Rob Buncardo here with the Sports Vault. The first show of the semester. 3 solid segments, Super Bowl preview, asking questions about LeBron James, dishing out the name Tremendously Awful. Rob, couldn't have written it any better myself.
Yeah, it's great to be back on air. Cannot wait to finish the semester. It's going to be a great year.
Could not have said it better. Anyway, Big Shot Rob, Jersey Joe Archino here with the Sports Vault. We'll be back next time. Everybody, thank you for watching.